on something I thought I might want to talk about today, but Spirit turned me around on Friday and placed in my heart to revisit 4D. And that's what I want to talk about today. Today's message will be a precursor to Thursday night at 7 o'clock, in which I'm going to show one of the most powerful interviews that I think is earth-changing and life-changing. So you that can be here, this is going to be our fast movie night. It's only an hour, so we will start at 7. We'll be through by 8, and just a half hour for discussion or whatever. So you're going to be out of here by 8:30 or so is the plan. I want you to come. It's an interview with Barbara Hand-Clow and a person in which she is dealing. It is amazing. So today I'm going to set the stage for that. We're going to talk about 4D. 4D has been so left out of the message of 3D to 5D. We just kind of erased it. And nobody has really focused on 4D. And you can't get to 5D unless you're ready to understand 4D. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about. 4D is the bridge that bridges us from 3D human experience to 5D human experience. Now this may be a new language, especially to our visitors and newer people that are here, but you understand that this is not way out new age woo-woo anymore. This is science. And I'd like to share with you from the Blue Brain team in Switzerland that has discovered multi-dimensional universe in the brain. Using mathematics in a novel way in neuroscience, the Blue Brain Project shows that the brain operates on many dimensions. Not just 3 dimensions that we are accustomed to. Now you do not understand that in 3D, we call that space-time. It's not hard to understand that. It's kind of an Einsteinian idea that everything that you're seeing through perception, through the 5 senses, has 3 dimensions: height, width, and depth. Right? Yes. That's just simple science. So we live in a 3D world most all the time. 5D is a place in which we are trying to attain to because it is a safe place. And it is where we are living from the heart, which this is so important to what's going on here Wednesday through Heart Math in learning heart living, heart breathing, and heart living. Now, I believe that the door to 5D was opened 2,000 years ago. Something so powerful happened 2,000 years ago. One, it was the end of an astrological age called Pisces. Or the beginning of Pisces, I'm sorry. 2,000 years ago was the beginning of an age of Pisces. And that was going to live through about 2,000 or so years ago, which is an astrological age. Right? And 2,000 years ago, a door was opened to 5D, or to the heart. Most of you who have seen pictures that are of Jesus, there's always a heart. Even in our statue out here in the garden of Jesus is a heart. Now I painted the colors of the chakras on the heart. But there's a heart. And you that come from those religions like Catholicism and whatever, the heart is everywhere. So something tells us that 2,000 years ago, the dimension to 5D was open to people. Now, the great wisdom of things, it knew somehow this wisdom of the Christ consciousness that came in 2,000 years ago into availability. Are you with me? Christ consciousness has always been around because it's universal consciousness. But it was not made accessible to 3D people until 2,000 years ago. A portal or door was opened to it. But in great wisdom, which comes from the heart, the wisdom told us that human beings in 3D would not get this that was available to them but for 2,000 years. Or in the Bible, 2 days. It says, 2 days you shall do miracles and wonders, but on the third day I'm going to raise you up. Do you realize you've entered the third day? You finished 2 days. Now I'm getting this because the Bible says a day is 1,000 years with God. That's Bible. I want you to get that. A day is 1,000 years. So we are leaving the second day and entering the third day. Also, we're leaving an astrological age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is connected to the planet Uranus. That's spiritually good, but not so good. It's spiritually good, but it's not going to feel good, because as we move into this ruling of this planet, it's going to mean upheaval. Now, I don't have to ask you to believe that. You're living it. Don't sit there and be thinking, upheaval. Oh, no, I don't see that. Upheaval. You're living in a world of upheaval. Now, you can escape to it inside yourself once in a while in meditation or whatever, but when you come out into the world, you're living in a world of chaos and breakdown. No doubt about it. This is because of the fact that things have switched and changed. And it doesn't matter on what level of consciousness a human is, they will have to deal with the energies and challenges of 4D. Now, I'm going to use a simple Bible story that makes it so clear. But even the New Testament tells us that a lot of what happened in the Old Testament were examples for us. That's what it says. So let's look at these children of Israel who spent 430 years in bondage and slavery. 430 years under the Egyptian rule. Their eye was on the promise. And I want you to know there is a promise. And you need to connect to the promise. The promise that you will navigate through this 4D and you shall arrive in 5D. Amen. Let's hold on to the promise. Are you with me? Don't lose the promise. No matter what's going on in your life individually, what's going on in politics, what's going on in religion, what's going on in the world today, hold on that you are living with a promise in you that you will reach your destiny where milk and honey flow. That was the destiny of these people all the while they were in slavery. But they didn't account for how this was going to happen. Because that's what the ego does. It diminishes the process. And I've talked about this so much to you that 3D has been under a patriarchal system of male. God is male. Males have ruled and reigned in this last age that we have lived in. The feminine has been suppressed. Therefore, we've lived in a tremendously unbalanced time and system. Take it keep my flow here. Living under male dominance. And I'm not talking about just men, although men have pretty much ruled the last age. They have ruled in education. They've definitely ruled in religion. They've ruled in the corporate world. Tell me where they have not ruled. Maybe you'll think of something. Maybe in the beauty shop or the cosmetic counter in the department store, but that's about it. In the home, the male has mostly ruled as the head of the woman, as taught in the interpretation of Christianity and its literalism of thinking. Jesus said 2,000 years ago something that I want to bring to you in a way that I hope you've never heard it before. He said to them in 3D and in the Piscean age, I promise you a place. Now I'm going to use a strange Bible term here, that the vulture's eye has not seen. That's in the book of Job. There is a place that the vulture eye has not seen. Now, don't hear that literally, but it's talking about a place in which the world is not using you and taking your energy and bringing death. Death meaning keeping you in captivity and in the darkness of who you truly are. That's what the systems have been set up for, because they are very concerned about you learning who you are. You know why? Because when you learn I am the truth will make you free. Free of what? Total mind control that has been going on in 4D by the archives. Now let's just get heavy here today. He said this, I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, get it? Where I am, you shall also be. That means any individual under 3D who has opened their heart and done the spiritual work can tap into 5D before it gets here. You know what that's called? Tasting of the world to come. When the children of Israel got out between their 3D and 5D, it was the desert. They had not prepared for what lie between the attaining of the promise. And I'm not sure we have been prepared, even in our spirituality, even new thought. As much as it's contributed and given to us, it has not prepared us for where we are heading for today, which is process. So the male is always product. Female is process. Now, ladies, think about it. Wouldn't you like a little bit more process from your male than product? Think about it. I'm not talking about just sexuality. I'm talking about attention. Sit down, talk to me, see me, feel me. Don't just use me to cook your meal and 15 seconds of sex and I'll go get my easy chair, get my beer and watch television and snore. I think you get my point. We need to understand, as this feminine is showing up more and more and more, it means we need to learn process. We need to learn, how do we navigate 2,000 years of total mind control? For most people, it is a stretch of the imagination to understand the world in 4 dimensions, but a new study has discovered structures in the brain with up to 11 dimensions. Groundbreaking work that is beginning to reveal the brain's deepest architectural secrets. This is it. 11 dimensions live in your brain, but here's the kicker. You can only access 9 of them in 3D. 9 dimensions. See if I can, I have them here somewhere. Oh, there they are. 1D is gravity, the heart of the mother. Telluric realm, crystals and elements. Linear time-space is 3D. That's the one you're in now. We live in the solid world of humanity. 4D is collective mind, archetypes, and feelings. 5D is love, unity, consciousness, and creativity. Then we get into geometric energy forms in the morphic field. 7 is sound, galactic information. Light is divine mind, and galactic center, time waves become less dense. Now, if you look on there, we here at HeartLight have tapped in to many of those different dimensions. Have we not had teachings on geometric energy? Huh? Answer me. Have we not? Yes. We've had classes on geometric. We know sound, light, but here we are, and love we're into right now in the heart. Crystals and elements, we have dabbled into that one. We've got crystals up here. A lot of you have done stones and crystals and whatever. And a lot of you have resonated with Native American and indigenous teachings of earth teachings. That's all living inside you right now. Where you are in the scheme of these things is what you're attracted to. So you that are earthly and you love to do the drumming and get out there on the earth like we did a few weeks ago. Some stayed in here, but some of you stayed out there in the earth. So there was like 2 dimensions going on here. There was a lot of sound. Boy, was there sound. The drums were going and whatever. It was pretty wild in here. And then a lot of you get out there and sit on the earth with Mother Earth. Maybe some of you had crystals. Here we are in 3D. So as you see, we really haven't moved very far as we were told. We think we are the top of the heap of evolution. Really? I don't think that shows at all. I think it shows that we need to continue to grow and to mature and to expand. Now, 4D dimensions receives messages continuously from the higher dimensions that makes like a canopy over 3D. Unfortunately, when these messages hit 4D, the structure divides them into opposing poles of light and dark, good and bad, etc. It splits the yin and yang. Now, if you see the yin and yang, you see how beautiful it is when they work together. Now you have balance. But if darkness takes over the light, or even the light over the darkness, you're living in unbalance. We don't live in a very balanced world. The yin and yang of creation, dark and light, when integrated, feeds each other into harmonious balance. However, if one of these consciousness attaches to another, to something outside of itself, it creates havoc and infects in the physical dimension of 3D. So, in the middle of the 9 dimensions is what? 5. 5. Same way with the chakras. In the 7 chakras, you have 3 below, you have 3 above, and right in the middle is the heart. Is the heart. This is the only place that's going to get us through. And I talked to Susan yesterday because I wanted to clarify something. That under the planet Pluto, which is transformation, but under Uranus is upheaval. I wish I could keep you from that. Just as a parent would love to keep their child from going through the difficult adolescent years and keep them from hurt and keep them from all of the trappings that are out there for them, drugs and all the kind of things that kids get themselves into. You want to protect them with everything that is in you, but you can't always do it because they have free will. So the 4D represents beings. Now this is where it's going to be a challenge for us to step out. Because in 3D you're such an earthling. You're so planetary. That maybe some of you aren't. I've talked to some of you. So I know that some of you have stepped out of planetary into more galactic and universal. When you get into that level, you get open to other life forms, other planets, and other realities outside of Earth. See, a lot of us are still the carryover of the old teaching, the Earth is in the center of God's creation. Now, intellectually, you might know that that was proved wrong through Galileo and all of that teaching. But I don't think we've left it. I think we still think of God as a planetary being and don't understand the frequency of God as a galactic, solar, and universal being. And you won't understand that until you awaken that dimension inside your brain. You get what I'm saying? You can't just learn it. You've got to open that dimension inside of you. Then you'll have understanding of that dimension. So again, if you align with one pole or the other of the split in 4D, you will be completely out of balance. One of the most challenging things that you have to deal with is at the level of emotion. 4D will awaken everything in the emotional body that you only not have now, but you've had through your lifetimes. It's going to be an intense emotional time. Now I'm going to insert a little something, and I'm going to try to be careful, because I don't think it's important to bring this into the Sunday morning group and to those who were not here Wednesday. but I literally walked out something that I had just taught. And what I just taught, that emotion can knock you out consciously. When you're knocked out consciously, you react from the emotional body. Whatever issues you're dealing with in your emotion begins to come out unconsciously. So, I apparently upset and offended a few of you that was here Wednesday with my outburst, my emotional outburst, which I'm not going to go into why. I can tell you why, but it's not important that I tell you why that happened for me. But I'm telling you what, it needed to happen for me. And I've had to deal with what happened to me. The first part of it was I was too concerned about what happened to you. But now you have to be responsible how it happened to you. I am responsible for how it happened to me. Are you with me? Yes. So I want to make my apology now. And if you still have issues with that, if you were here, please come and see me. And let us mend our hearts back together and not be offended. When I said what I said, I was not in any way thinking of any one person. I want to make that clear. It was not directed to you, but you see, your ego personalized it, that it was about me and to me. But it was not. It was just poorly done. So I hope that you get me and we can move on from there. One of the greatest things is the balancing of our emotional energy will be the biggest thing that you can do in 3D. Mastering our emotional energy is probably one of the biggest challenges becoming a 5D human. Our conditioned ego tends to get addicted to drama, challenge, and suffering. Then if you don't, you will. And we tend to be addicted to our conditioned ego. After all, we are practically from infancy made to believe that the ego will keep us safe. Not true. Emotional energy of this fourth dimension messages is extremely powerful. This is the primary reason we must learn how to clear and keep clearing the emotional body. Now listen to that. You that was here on April 8th, which by the way, how many of us felt a change from the eclipse? Absolutely. So a lot of what's going on right now is, I think, happening because of April 8th. But you that was here, I heard such things from people, is it felt different in the room. That the drumming and the rhythm and the sound was clearing the space. I think we need to once in a while make sure we keep clearing old emotional patterns that is now escaping, which is a good thing. So my spirit, my heart is saying to you, please be kind and patient with yourself and with each other at what we're getting ready to go through. I've been feeling it for a long time. I knew there was underpinnings. I knew there was something that was going on here at HeartLight. I wasn't sure how it was going to show up, but there was just things that I knew going on in the background and underneath, whatever. And this is good. This is a safe space for you to clear your karmic patterns and get ready to be an initiate to move into 5D. Did you get that? He can do it again. I told you I have a message from the Lord, from Spirit. This is the message from Spirit. Prepare ye. Prepare ye. This is going to be a year of havoc. It doesn't matter which way it goes. Don't you see the result of 4D? Have you ever seen a more polarized political world we're living in, my God, how polarized can it be? And gets worse every day. I mean, this is something, the concern that I'm hearing is that whoever wins, the other side is going to want to attack the other side, even to the point of killings and murders. In other words, a whole new civil war could break out.
I am the violet flame.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we need the violent flame. We need to do what we're doing here, but do it with consciousness, not as a ritual. This is what bothers me sometimes when we keep doing certain things on Sunday, and it is more ritualistic rather than we're in a state of consciousness of it. When you do this peace song, I've done my best to get you into that consciousness of being able that every Sunday morning that you are making your deposit of peace into the collective unconsciousness of our earth and planet and beyond if necessary. When you say spirit-guided, heart-centered, Christ-conscious, loving, it's because it's written up there. Because that's how HeartLight starts out on Sunday morning. Or do you bring the consciousness, oh God, make me more spirit-guided this week. Last week I wasn't always so spirit-guided. I let my mind, I let my ego, I let my emotions made me act and react. But I want to do better this week. So in this Sunday service, make me a little bit more aware of where I can retune and restore and reposition myself. Because here's the thing. I can sit here and say to you, I'll never do that again. I learned and I will never do that again, but I'm not going to do it because I don't know what may come out of me. The thing is I have to play mine out in front of you. That's the hard thing. As a leader, a spiritual position I'm in, is often these things are going to happen because I'm a third dimension human being too, and I'm working out my own stuff. Yes. Is that all right? Yeah. So thank you for your love and your patience to let me do that if needed to be. I have a lot of stored up stuff that I didn't even know that I had until recently. So to the point that something said to me, you need some spiritual guidance for yourself. Yes. And I said then, I don't want to go to a psychotherapist or somebody like that. I've been down that road. I end up helping them. Asked him, it's the truth. I went to one and I was telling about my being raised Pentecost and how I'd been molested at 12, 13 years old. He said, me too. Let me tell you about it. And I thought, you're getting paid what? $80, $100 for me to sit here and counsel you? So Spirit did connect me with someone that is the best fit spiritually, psychologically, that I have ever been with. Because I too am having my dealings. I go where I can to get help from me. And thank you for you that have made yourself available for me. I'm saying all of this because I want to take down the destruction or the constructed part of the ego that says because David's up there and knows all these things, he's way beyond. Moses is walking it out with them just like the rest of the children of Israel. He did not get any license because of who he was. In fact, he died in the wilderness. Didn't even make it to the promised land. So please hear what Spirit is saying today. In 4D, it seems those that I'm going to call the movie directors. The movie directors are those who are over 4D. They are not of this earth, but they have connected into earth energy and therefore affect 3D human beings. Do you understand? 3D human beings are bodies. That's their connection, is in the physical. I don't know if I believe that. Well, then look at your body. If they didn't have control, you would not have the pain, the arthritis, the diabetes, or any other deal that you are dealing with would not be there. Those things only live in the emotional realm of 3D. They're all emotional. They can call it cancer, they can call it diabetes, they can call it arthritis, they can call it MS, they can call it, because they put 3D names on it. But none of those things exist. They're just a name for how the body is trying to tell us, I need to raise my frequency out of 3D. To become a 5D body. That's why the attraction was toward the tuning forks and raw vibration and frequency for 24 years. That wasn't by accident. It wasn't because I was sitting around have nothing to do, so I think I'll do tuning forks. Are you kidding me? I lost a lot of people over that. So Jesus is using tuning forks now. I said, Jesus is a tuning fork. And these people who said that are people who go to churches that praise and lift their hands up. I said, oh my God, you look like a tuning fork. With the tip of your fingers, bringing in new frequencies, and you shout and you dance, and once in a while you get healed in whatever because you've become a human tuning fork, bringing in from higher fifth dimension, and it rearranges your body, and you call it a miracle and healing. I'm tired of visiting 5D when that's where my citizenship is. What it says in the Bible. My citizenship is in heaven. Okay. I'm moving in. No more visiting it. No more touching into it and then coming back to mind control 3D existence. Thank you for whoever said the resurrection a while ago. Thank you. She was thankful for her resurrection. The raising of her frequency out of 5D. 3D. Well, now once you get to 3D, the way I was given this, I didn't bring that, Tim, sorry, but the way I was given this thing is with the tuning forks, the solfeggio was the linear 3D space, 4D time, 5D is the curve. How many understand that? How many understand enough of Einsteinian teachings to know that all matter eventually turns back in the eternal return? Yeah. That's why we have a round planets, round suns, and round things, is because things, according to mass, bends. Oh my God, think of the scripture, and every knee shall bow, everything. Oh my God, you're in the bending. I was watching the wind out there with our trees the other day when it was so windy, and I so admired those leaves and those limbs that just went with the wind. And those who didn't was on the ground. Just snapped them off because they weren't willing to bend with the wind. Oh, so much. So the emotional energy of these four-dimension messages is extremely powerful. This is the primary reason why we must learn how to keep clearing. the emotional body. I think I'm slowly going to come back into doing clearings with tuning forks soon. I've got my first appointment next Thursday. And believe it or not, next Wednesday, there's a man flying here. I don't know, where is he, Texas or somewhere in the country, is flying here just for the day for me to do a tuning and to come to our class.
Wow.
He's been a chaplain, he's been a pastor, he's been many things, but he somehow got a hold of my work and is flying in here. Now that's telling me something's going on. HeartLight, are you ready when they start flooding in? From the north, the south, the east, and the west. When people find out there is a place in the midst of the havoc of 3D where they can come and raise their vibratory frequency out of it, they will come. And I'm not saying HeartLight's the only place, but it's a unique place here in Charlotte.
Yes, it is.
I don't know everything that's going on in Charlotte, but if there is, please tell me and show me if there's another place like HeartLight here. And I'm not saying that with ego, I'm saying it with humility and telling you that means responsibility is upon us.
Yes.
And if we're arguing and fighting and dealing with each other all the time, we will not be prepared for them while we're working on ourselves and each other. That's why I want us to get this done. Let's get our stuff done so that we can open our hearts and space to whosoever will. Let them come. That's why I think the community meetings are going to be important for us to deal with whatever we need to deal with. I'm closing with this. Now you're going to get a lot of this Thursday night in this interview. Everything from homosexuality to transgender to everything is mentioned in this hour and gives you reasons why these things are and happening in 4D. Don't miss this opportunity. St. Cloud points out how the indigenous cultures was able to stay in what she calls an archetypal stream. They allowed 4D emotional energy to get expressed through creativity such as dance, dreams, gongs, and other states of vibration and frequency. Native Americans, Africans. Think of the indigenous people, the Aborigines with the didgeridoo, people with chimes and bells and all those kind of things made it through. And we need to integrate that here more and more. And I think I'm going to stop there. One more. This dammed up energy is part of what creates the murkiness of 4D, which then makes it more difficult for us to access higher dimensions, dimensional perspective and higher dimensional wisdom. In turn, this keeps us back in our 3D expression. On the other hand, instead of damming up the energy, we let it explode in ways that are not harmful to others. Do you hear? We've got to learn how to let it explode and not take it personally. Even I had to deal with this not being taken personally. I, for the first day or so, was so rough on myself. Thank you for you that picked that up and called me. That was concerned about me, what I might be going through because of the incident here. I thought that was very unselfish for you to do that. Thank you. Because I beat myself up. I was wrong. I did wrong. I'm a failure. I should not be your spiritual director. All that crazy language of ego was going on in my head until I left the polarity of this and that in myself and came back. So instead of damming up the energy, let it explode in ways that's not harmful for others. For this has the same effect in 4D as repressing it. Our rage and violence circulate in that dimension, feeding those archetypes that take glee in smiting, raping, pillaging what creates thicker berries in the canopy. And it goes on to say, if we do not do this, it will end up in our physical bodies. I can't help it. I'm as guilty as anybody looking for the fix. The right doctor to fix me. The right dentist to fix me. The right this one to fix me. But the best that I can be led to is those who facilitate and awaken my own self-wisdom and self-healing within me. I hope this has been beneficial for you to hear today. Because you need to understand, I know some of you still might want to stick your head in the sand and think this is not going to affect me because I don't watch the news, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what Donald Trump's doing, I don't care what's Donald, I don't care what Biden's doing, I don't care whatever. I'm sorry. I just said it doesn't matter what level of consciousness you're in, you are going to have to experience 4D. So let us here at HeartLight work to prepare ourselves to be strong, balanced, and centered, and unmovable in the faith once delivered to the saints. Let us take a moment. This is why I perspire and I sweat. Don't worry about me that I'm hot. This is an outward heat. This is higher channeling that's going on in this 3D body that's trying to hold it. Take a deep, slow breath. You that are in the class, do about 3 heart-focused breaths. Let your chest come out on the in and out. You can go through your nose, which I prefer, in and out the nose, but if you feel comfortable out the mouth, that's fine. That is your 5D connection, is the heart. The heart. Before you go back out into this world this week, may you go back with your heart giving you resilience. Resilience. Holy Spirit, make us more aware of ourselves and let us catch ourselves in the trappings of our ego, that we don't become knocked out consciously, but we remain awake and alert and realize the power is in making a different choice. Jesus said in the Course of Miracles, choose again. He also said, turn the other cheek. You can look at it from the perspective of ego or from the system of the Holy Spirit in you. We ask and give this word to you today, that it may accomplish and do that which it was sent out to do. And let those that have ears hear what the Spirit has to say to the church, to the ecclesia, to the spiritual community. And so it is. Woo. Are we okay? Are we ready to move forward? I am. Let's just take a moment, just feel gratitude for yourself, for each other, for this community, even for this space, the land that has been given to us for a most important time in our spiritual evolution of consciousness, where we are safe, where we can love unconditionally, Let's be thankful for those who are stepping up now as we move from minister-centered to community-centered living. That is our desire right now, is to become more community-centered. I want to thank Michael for being the first platform assistant, and others are on their way. If this is something that you love and want to do, you can be put on a list. It may not be your thing, but I'll guarantee you something is your thing. It may not be getting up here in front of people, but I'll guarantee you, you will find your thing when you know it. But everybody has a thing in a community. We work as a body works with every part.